Welcome back to Market Master, Roland Attenborough. This is our 7th generation, so we've got it set up with all the planets, and what we've done is we've got a bull ring and a bear ring on our date ring that can move around independently here. I can just spin it and line it up. So what we did was we took the bear market, because bear markets go downward in the numbers. So what we did is we've aligned October 5th, our top last year in Bitcoin, with 126, and nobody can dispute that. And from there, we've moved all the way down on our first move, on our first wave to 79, so a 405-degree move. And then from there, we made another terrific move, and we moved all the way up into this 95 area where I said to you guys to watch out and don't chase that market. Let's go ahead and let's just continue to talk about how this thing works again. So from that, again, low, we had a next low at 59.60 right here that swung all the way around. Right? So you see how this has worked. So lining up this date now, the first 45 degrees is aligned with our cluster dates, and I showed you this many months ago, and I've color coordinated this so that we could kind of stay together and see where our next dates for things would happen. So from the October 5th top at 126, which is 126, October 5th right here, 0 degrees. Just line that up a little there we go. And our first 45-degree angle is right here on the 20th of November, and we had an extreme low on 79 right here, exactly on that time and date. So I categorized all the dates from the top and the first low and how they aligned on the square together phonetically here. And numerically, and we've now taken this assumption and we've gone through again adding 45 degrees or each octave of the circle, and you can see that from the November low, 7 octaves, or on a scale on music, I've told you before, so 315 degrees backwards is right here, 310, 320, carrying on backwards. So we can go on the circle and we can go on the square. So this is how this tool works for both bull and bear markets. And it gives you the dates when the changes in trend are about to occur. So here, looking at the next major ones, we were seeing that 180 degrees, we could see a low on April 3rd as we've done in April 2025. At that time, another corresponding number lines up with the 135 degrees. So from here, 135 degrees brings us right over to here. And so you can see that these dates line up later on. Anyways, let's go ahead and just take a look at, so from the top, right, our 180 degrees here from our top here is April 5th, right? So we have April 3rd here on the paperwork, but you get the idea. And then from the next one down, tells us it's May 21st, or this one's saying the 18th, so there we go, close again. Again, our next change in trend, as we've categorized, are the 270 from the top, so all the way down to 260, 270 degrees. And what do we have on the square? So right now, for July, we are now vibrating off 60, and we are on a 45-degree angle here at 63. I think that's 63.5 is, I think, the highest we've made it so far. So from there, if we could get above the 65, then we would definitely be hitting 68. Will that occur? Well, we're going to just watch and see how well these cluster dates, and you can see how there's 2 of them here. They're color coordinated. And done that so that we understand. So from the low here, 225 degrees would be coming around to here, and it would take us right to there, which is July 4th, which is where we are. And on the inside of the square, we're vibrating right here with price. We're bouncing off of here, and we're right in here. So just thought I'd show you that, right? So as we go around backwards inside this in time, we're aligning these two dates for our top and our low in the future, and this is what we're finding. And you can see how it points out these major changes. Our next two changes from there will start to occur on our first topping pattern of 315 degrees. It'll be a 7th octave, and that's August 16th. So we can see a potential topping pattern in that period, as well as we also have the August 16th, which is 2 days later, and it's a 270 degree move here, right, at August 21st here. So it just shows you that 18, so we're within a few days. So that's how that's going. The next one on the extreme here, the 7th octave for November 21st low at 79. Our next major low or possible change in trend would occur the October 2nd of 2026. That would be the 7th octave from our major first swing low on our channel, which is our first major octave. And then our topping, 360 days, would be October 5th. So returning, returning back to October 5th here on the circle from the August 21st, 18th area. And this would show us here that this August 16th area here, moving forward for us, would show October 5th as the 360. So you can see how the circle works there. And of course, using the circle, I've aligned it so that each circle ring lines up on that date, so we can actually look at the longitude of prices. So looking at that, looking at the circle now for tops and bottoms, well, quite recently we have this 63 to 59 level right here. So on the wheel, here's 59 because 36 is here. Then we go for every 10 degrees, we just add one numeral. So from 36, we go to 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. You get the idea. Then we just keep adding the circle till we get to 72. Then there's 73. There again, we just keep adding the circles therein. This is how we find the longitude of price, and then we can find where all the planets are using our scale. And to do that, you can purchase one of these on our website, Market Master Roland Attenborough, on our Google and our YouTube as well. So you can text me at 1-250-212-6922 if you want to utilize a tool that shows you how to find the tops and or changes in trend. I mean, you'll turn into a top and bottom picker. I tend to do this quite a bit, obviously, with my work. So we're looking out into the end of the year for major changes in October, and I'm calling November, definitely into November. So let's go take a look at what my private ephemeris states here about the months ahead and some of the planets that we're going to see hitting each other. So coming up here, we're right here. So Uranus and Mars got together here. I was calling for a change in trend, a big one there. And then from there, we were talking about, the lead planets at times way back. So I'm just going to move this up. So right now, our lead planet between eclipses so far is Venus, and it's about to can be conjunct the south node, right, and opposite the north node. And then we're going to have the moon and the sun and Mercury here. Mercury's retrograde right now. It's going backwards, and it's going to be retrograde and conjunct the sun as well as the moon. So there's a triple conjunction, plus there's a conjunction of, well, these aren't conjunctions, these are in the same degrees of the circle other planets are. So I note that they're, making a 30-degree angle and whatnot. So anyways, next on the most important things for this month is when Jupiter, our friend here, which is the planet of abundance, will be opposite Pluto right here. So they'll be coming in, and for this entire week, we're going to see the actions of Pluto and Jupiter affecting us. And then the sun's going to come in, and it's going to make its opposition with Pluto, or with Pluto, and conjunct Jupiter here. So we'll have another major. Well, that's a major energy there. And then, of course, we're going to have Mars. Mars is going to be at a 45-degree angle with our friend Jupiter here. So and it's going to be a full moon, by the way, there too. So end of the month has a lot of stuff happening. So into August, where the sun will be with Jupiter momentarily there. Then we're starting to move into the new eclipse season, and we start making it also 395 days from one of our first tops, and again another top 410 days from July. So I'm looking for bottoms. That's 13 and a half months from that top. So it's going to look like, and this is, I was talking about this again, we were talking about August the 18th and the 16th. So, and on the 16th, Mercury is going to come in again and is going to catch up to our Jupiter and be conjunct. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on there. Then we have the next set of planets of those two, the Sun and Mercury, will be hitting the north and south node as we were discussing here on the square. So there will be a lot of volatility happening as well in the market. So I just thought I'd show you that. And September has a lot of stuff going on. Mars is going to be at a 22.5 degrees with Jupiter. We're going to have a full moon. Will be 360 days coming up from the tops in October, as well as a top that happened in July. It'll be 60 weeks or 420 days. So a major low pattern and topping pattern low pattern has to come in these months here. And we're starting to get to the 12th month again. So we're 364 days from the 1 year top, and then from the first top we're 420 days, and most likely will be the end. It's kind of like the same as the pages in the book of Tunnel Through the Air, written by Gann. I own all his books and courses. So here again, we're looking at 450 days from the July top here. So again, we're getting close into these tops here, or 430. And so this is how we're just finding these tops and lows. So there's going to be a full moon, Mercury's retrogrades, there'll be a lot of stuff going on there. In November is, of course, when our friend Mars, which is conjunct right now Uranus, planet of technology, is going to be conjunct Jupiter at about somewhere here in the chart. And then it's going to be also conjunct the north and the south node. So that's going to be or be making something with the south and the north node, which is pretty interesting. Also, we have the full moon here in this 13.5 months from the top. And again, with 60 weeks or 420 days from the October 6th top. So I expect in this period that's about the time when we'll be seeing the most amount of activity in the market subsiding, and you know, after we pass this period, of August 5th again, you know, we get into the 12th and 13th month of our scale, which is November, around the 20th. So I'd say by that time we would have made a low, and then we can start moving back up, and then we'll be setting the scale. And it looks like 36 is opposite in that area, so it's possible and likely that we could align with one of these red lines here on this thing. But 36 is the halfway point and is a very strong point. And I think that's probably somewhere where we're going to see, and not to say that we can't get as low as I was saying, as maybe into the 23, but certainly this 28 we could touch, but that would be a very weak, and that would really rattle some people, and that's aligned with an extreme topping area on our scale. So just using the inner square and showing you the outer part of how this is working. Of course, 126 is right here on our longitude scale, right? As we move around, there's 108. We climb all the way up to 126, which is exactly 180 degrees from our top on October 5th. So the longitude lines up as well. So I just thought I'd point that out. The scale is, you can use it for a few different things, and this is what Gan was doing. And I also show you how to do the mean of 5, cycle of 8, and a mean of 12 as well. So, and to do forecasts, I show you how to figure out what years. So this can be used for a lot more things. You can use it for day trading and whatnot. Not that this is financial advice for you to be like going day trading, but you can use this obviously to find resistance levels and the longitude of price where you expect prices could bounce off of and make a change. So this would tighten up your summary of when you should go long or short, or how far you should go with the numbers being where they're at when you align it correctly. So I've showed you for the Bitcoin bear market here in real time. So this is something that would be probably very helpful for you moving forward. Anyways, peace and love, brothers and sisters. Hit me up here, 1250-212-6922, or you can Google us on Market Master Roland Attenborough, or you can go to the links on this channel or whatnot to get in touch with us. Peace and love.